Hi, my name is Jacob Morales, and this is my Geology 103 final. The first article that I chose is titled Genomics and Ornithology. It can be found at this link here. It was written by Scott V. Edwards for the Journal of Ornithology on October 20th, 2007. This article covered how genomic technologies are applied to the study of ecology and the evolution of birds. Genomic technologies are used to manipulate and analyze genetic information. Throughout this article, they focus specifically on genome evolution and gene expression. It's very exciting that how this technology that used to be only available in high-end labs is starting to become more widely available to smaller, less funded corporations and laboratories. This is helping further the genetic study of lots of animals, but this article specifically focused on birds. I thought that it was interesting just to learn about genomics a bit more. I really had no understanding of that word, but genomics are so important to learning about these creatures. Without the ability to study their genetic sequences, we wouldn't be able to categorize animals from the past accurately. I would have to say this probably relates the most to week 4, where we covered evolution and genetic inheritance. Okay. The second article that I chose is titled Planet's Rarest Birds at Higher Risk of Extinction by The second article that I chose is titled Planet's Rarest Birds at Higher Risk of Extinction by the British Ecological The second article that I chose is titled Planet's Rarest Birds at Higher Risk of Extinction by the British Ecological Society on November 25th, 2022. This article can be found at this link. Throughout this article, the author discusses a new study that shows that birds with rare traits are at a higher risk of extinction compared to that of common birds. The consequences of losing these birds could be a huge hit to ecosystems around the world. This is the most comprehensive study of its kind to date, as it includes 99% of all living bird species. They aren't completely sure as to why this is occurring. They can only hypothesize what is causing this issue. Jerome Alley, a PhD candidate at Princeton, believes that this could be because highly specialized organisms, like these rare birds, are having a harder time adapting to changes in their environment and ecosystem. I thought this article was super interesting. While it was short, it was a reminder of how important it is to survival to be able to adapt to your environment. If you have rare traits that don't help you succeed and are just for aesthetic purposes, there is no real purpose to them, and they could honestly limit your ability to live in the ecosystem that you are inhabiting. I would say this article relates closest to week 6, where we covered evolutionary relationships. The third and final article that I chose is titled 525 Million Year Old Fossil Defines Textbook Explanation for Brain Evolution by the University of Arizona on November 25th, 2022. It can be found at this link below. This article discusses a group of fossils that were recently discovered. These fossils are of a tiny sea creature. Huh? I'm doing my geology final. Yeah, it's due at 7 a.m. These fossils are of a tiny sea creature with a preserved nervous system. This nervous system goes against the debate of how the brain evolved in arthropods. This is, to our knowledge, the oldest fossilized brain that we have discovered. In the past, it was understood that brains don't fossilize, so finding this brain is interesting in that alone. In this study, the author compared this brain to that of known fossils in living arthropods. Through this, they concluded that they shared a blueprint of brain organization to that of what they had in the Cambrian. This is so interesting to me for many reasons. Just the fact that they can find fossilized brains is odd in itself. I'll have to research on how that occurs since it doesn't really seem possible to me. On top of that, this discovery means that we were wrong about how brains developed in arthropods. This is so interesting because what else have we been wrong about? It makes you wonder what we could find out next. This relates most to week 6 evolutionary relationships. I loved all these articles and they are very interesting to read about, and I would want to continue researching any of these. If I had to pick one, to research further, I would most likely pick Article 1. I know the least about that topic, and genetic sequencing is very interesting to me, and it's very important to the way that we learn and discover new things about science and different animals, different species. I would love to learn more about how it works and understand how we can create those sequences from fossils, just from scratch. It seems crazy to me.